Hey there, if you're new to the channel, you want to learn everything there is to know about living in New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas like Ormond Beach, which we are here today, then you've come to the right place. My name is Matt Ecoff. I'm a local real estate expert. I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Rachel Ecoff, and we're here to share everything from the best neighborhoods to the hottest spots around town. Listen, I get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people just like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe so you get all the notifications and updates about New Smyrna Beach, Ormond Beach, Ponce Inlet, Daytona Beach, and all the surrounding areas that we cover. So today we are in Ormond Beach. We're going to be doing a pros and cons video. Okay, we are right on Granada. This is the main street. We have the bridge that goes over the Intercoastal right here behind me. This is where all the shops and restaurants are. You can see there's an ice cream scoop place. There's a barbecue place here. We have a huge antique mall right back here. And again, the ocean's just right here, right across the bridge where we have the Halifax River and the Intercoastal. But today we're going to be doing a pros and cons video inside Whole Seafood Kitchen. But first I want to go through and go into Whole Seafood Market, because if you live in Ormond Beach, this is a must-have for fresh seafood. In fact, there's people that come in from all over the cities. We come in from New Smyrna Beach just to grab some of the seafood here. So let's go and start with there, and let's go through our pros and cons for the day. All right guys, so we're here at Whole Seafood. We had to come to this place because we're doing a pros and cons video, and we like to do some sit down while we're doing the pros and cons. We like to talk some things out just so people will know what some of the pros and cons are of the area. So we're at Whole Seafood.
And also we like to eat.
So this place is amazing. We actually come over here from New Smyrna, even though it's about a 30-minute drive from New Smyrna, taking US 1, but we come over here to get seafood. We come here to eat, but then also to grab some of the fresh seafood because it's pretty unbelievable here. And I don't know of a bigger place that serves the fresh seafood in the area in all the areas that we cover other than Whole's.
New Smyrna is getting one, but we're doing a pros and cons on Ormond Beach.
Yeah, we got a request to do pros and cons here anyway, but we would like to do it because it's a big community and it's an area that we cover. So I'm over here pretty often. I play, as you guys know, I play a lot of tennis and our GBTL, which is Greater Volusia Tennis League. Our team plays Oceanside Country Club, which is in Ormond Beach, and then we come over to Ormond Beach to do some antique shopping sometimes because they got some great antique stores here, and then just bring our daughter. There's some ice cream places and stuff like that. So just to kind of explore the areas, but wanted to go through today and talk about the pros and cons of Ormond Beach. Let's just talk about pro number one, and it's the same pro all the time. It's no matter where we're at, the pro is the same. We are close to the beach.
Yeah.
This is part of the life of living over here, is being close to the beach, yes. And so we do not take it for granted, and we don't want you guys to take it for granted if you're moving over here. That is why you're moving to Florida, and it's why you're moving to Ormond Beach or Port Orange or Ponce Inlet or New Smyrna Beach or Edgewater, is you're moving for the beach. It's got to be a pro number one. Beaches here, they're wide, they're clean, there's drivable beaches, there's non-drivable beaches, they are not crowded at all. Ormond Beach is not a place that people typically know of unless you live in the areas that we cover. Even people from Orlando don't know. And in fact, this is very, very interesting. Ormond, or you said it was interesting, maybe it's not interesting to you guys, but Ormond, out of all the areas that we cover, Ormond is the one that's closest to Jacksonville and St. Augustine, closer than it is to Orlando. We talk about New Smyrna being about an hour 15 from the attractions and things like that, but Ormond is much farther. You can't get on I-4 and take that straight across the state like you would normally to go to Universal and Disney. You actually need to get on 95, take 95 up to I-4, or you take 95 up all the way to the Beeline and to go over to the beach, but it is a lot farther away. So this is a place that you actually would probably go to Jacksonville and St. Augustine more than you would go to Orlando.
I would. If we lived up here, I think that's like your closer kind of stomping grounds, then you would go out to Orlando. Although,
not that you can't go to Orlando.
Orlando is still only an hour and
hour and a half
away. Like, if you're planning on going to Orlando for like Disney or Universal or whatever, like that's still not that far away.
Yeah.
Honestly, so winning.
Yeah, winning. So anyway, pro number one, easy, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's the beach. It's the clear waters. It really is fantastic. And if you are an outdoor person and you like kayaking and you like surfing and you like boating and you like anything else, jet skiing, anything else that you have the Halifax River, which is the Intercoastal, which is really, really wide in this area, and then you have the ocean. And talking about being on the water, we talked about this in our community tour, and I didn't know this, but 18% of the residents in Ormond Beach live on the water.
Yep.
That's crazy. That means if you have, yeah, that's 20%, almost 20%. I mean, it's 18%, I just said that, but it's almost 20%, which means that if you have 10 friends, which is probably more than I have, but if you have 10 friends, likely 2 of them live on the water. That's pretty awesome. If you have 20 friends, then you have a lot of friends, and then 4 of them live on the water. And that's great because you can take advantage of that kind of stuff, whether it's fireworks show, whether it's boating, or whether it's just entertaining.
And also, your previous video, Ormond Beach is pretty well affordable compared to some of the other closer beach towns that are around us. This is a pretty affordable area to live. So
Yeah.
I think that that's also a tack on to the beaches and
Affordability, of course, is a relative term. But when we did our community tour, you can find places in the trails $400,000, and you're still in Ormond Beach. So you go to Plantation Bay and find something in the multi-millions,
$5 million.
or even more than that on the one that we recorded in front of our outro on our community tour video. So anyway, easy number one pro of Ormond Beach is the beach, beautiful beaches, coastal lifestyle living. All right, so let's talk about con number one. One thing that we're going to do different, we were talking about it when we were on our way over here. We usually do all of our pros and we do all of our cons, but I don't want to end on cons. I'm an eternal optimist, and I don't want you to be scared about living here because people are scared about living here. You were just reading an email on the drive over here about how this lady and her husband coming from South Carolina that's been watching our videos were nervous about living coastal. They wanted to kind of live more inland because they were scared of hurricanes. We've lived beachside New Smyrna Beach for a long time. Our house was built in the 1940s and it's still standing with a huge 30-foot banyan tree in the front yard that's been there forever. Like it's not a nerve-wracking thing. We had Hurricane Aaron that's out right now. That's going to be swinging around, probably hitting North Carolina, not us, but maybe a little bit of the outskirts. But it's not a big deal. You have time to plan. But we have to talk about con number one, and it is going to be storm risk, which leads to higher insurance costs. Okay, so this is something that I get asked a lot about. Probably the number one thing that I get asked about when people are thinking about moving down here is what is the insurance going to be? Well, first off, let's talk about this. Insurance cost is likely rolled into your mortgage payment every month. Unless you specifically want to ask to pay it all up front, then it's probably going to be rolled in and money's going to be taken out of escrow. So if you don't want to pay it all up front, the insurance cost, then it's going to come out of your escrow account. And your mortgage is going to reflect that every month. So insurance is something that you shop every year. This is not something that you hit and then you sit on it all the time. No, you shop it every single year. Flood risk is more important. But listen, I've done a flood video before. If you're in flood zone X or X500, you can't get better no matter where you are in the state of Florida. You could be in the middle, you could be in Ocala, you could be in the villages, and you could be flood zone X, and you could be 200 yards from the ocean and be flood zone X. So flood zone X and X500 is high and dry. It's not going to matter where you're at. So again, you're going to have this insurance. You're going to have flood insurance that's not required. If you have a mortgage, it's not required with flood zone X or X500. Obviously, it's not required if you pay for a home cash, but it's something that you weigh risk versus reward. But con number one is storm risk, hurricane risk, and being coastal means that you're going to have higher homeowners insurance costs. Hurricane season prep is a must. This is something that we're going to be going through right now. It's an extremely mild season so far. We're in the middle of August 2025, and it's been really, really mild this year, but it is something you have to prepare for and you have to be ready for. So we have sandbags, we have a generator, we have the things that you need to be sure that to get through some of this stuff.
And that's just something that you get used to doing during hurricane season. And a lot of those supplies, other than dry foods, are reusable things. So you're going to buy them once, twice maybe, if you're getting extra.
Yeah, you shouldn't be reusing sandbags. You shouldn't be reusing plywood. In fact, most people have the plywood number because they know, hey, this was for this window, this was for this window, so they write it down. So, look, insurance, you're going to have insurance costs anywhere and everywhere. If you're in the middle of Texas, you're going to have, tornado. If you're in California or New York, you might have earthquake. I mean, you're going to have it anywhere that you're at. Just expect to have it. The flood risk is a risk. I have to bring it up, and so that's got to be our con number one.
But that's something that you can help people navigate.
Absolutely.
You understand in our specific areas what areas flood, what that flood zone looks like, what are you up against.
Watch the flood zone video. I had somebody reach out to me and said, hey, I'm calling you because you were transparent about the flooding areas and what areas flood and which areas don't. So yes, reach out to me, let me know, because I'll tell you, unless you specifically ask about flood zone AE, I'm not even going to show it to you. I'm only going to show you the high and dry areas because that's my job, is to make sure that you're protected, your investment protected. All right, pro number two is the variety of neighborhoods. We just finished our top 5 community tour, and
watch that video because it is all about Ormond Beach and the top 5
and
neighborhoods that are here.
It is an eclectic mix. I mean, I don't remember the number of order. I remember Plantation Bay was number 1. I remember Halifax Plantation was number 2. I think the Trails was number 5. Yeah, but we kind of did it out of order. But you can get stuff from the Trails to Plantation Bay. The Trails could be, it could be anywhere in the country. Overgrown trees, a really, really developed neighborhood, low HOAs, a lot of sense of community neighborhood type. Then it could be in Plantation Bay, and you could find a $350,000 house, or you could find an $8 million house with 45 holes of golf.
What's cool about that neighborhood, like why we thought it was number 1, and please watch the video because we're not going to go into great detail about the actual neighborhoods, but it's because it's a luxury community that you can find a variety of different homes in, and you get so much for your money in.
The neighborhoods here are amazing, and in fact, I think it's probably, out of all the areas that we cover, it's probably the most eclectic mix of neighborhoods. I mean, in New Smyrna Beach, we have Sugar Mill, which is completely different than Venetian Bay, which is completely different than Corbin Park, which is different than North Beach, which isn't really a community, but we're really not a neighborhood, but is a community itself. But this area actually has communities and neighborhoods, some gated, some not, and
that are totally different.
There's a great mix. So definitely pro number 2 is the mix and the variety of neighborhoods in Ormond Beach. All right, so I'm going to piggyback on pro number 2 with con number 2, that all those eclectic neighborhoods lead to HOA costs. And some of the neighborhoods which are large, like Halifax Plantation and Plantation Bay, are going to have HOAs dependent upon even the subdevelopment. They're going to have a master plan HOA, and then they're going to have a subdevelopment HOA.
Very similar to Venetian Bay.
Yeah, very similar to Venetian Bay. But that's not always a bad thing. I mean, HOAs really like to pay that, and that's something that you have to pay for month to month or year over year. That's not coming out of your equity, or your escrow account, like it might with your insurance costs. But having an HOA does keep the community in a certain protection. You're not going to have a pink and purple house or gnomes in the front yard. I got nothing against pink and purple or gnomes in the front yard, but it's one thing that you're not going to have to worry about so much. It's going to be protected, and the neighborhood's going to be protected. But it can be a con because the HOAs are great for amenities, but the cost can get a little bit up there. Some of those monthly dues can range from anywhere from as low as $50. I think we toured a house in Plantation Bay that they were like $56, $55, all the way up to over $600 a month. So that can be a negative if you don't like HOAs for sure. So con number 2 absolutely has to be HOAs. Pro number 3 for Ormond Beach, Florida. It's proximity to Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach. Now, we live in New Smyrna Beach. It's my favorite place in the whole world. Now, I'm biased because I live there, but there's a lot of stuff. There's boutiques, there's restaurants, there's so many different events. And we just got over the Seafood Fest where they shut down Flower Avenue. We did a wine walk, which that video is in editing right now. There's always something going on in New
There's a farmer's market every weekend.
Yeah, every weekend there's a farmer's market. Daytona
always.
Beach has everything that it has to offer. I mean, it's got the boardwalk, and it's got the Daytona Speedway, International Speedway, and there's events at the International Speedway, and it's got Daytona 1, which has the movie theater and all that kind of different stuff. Ormond Beach proximity is great. You can be in Daytona Beach depending on where you live, because if you live in Plantation Bay or you live in Halifax Plantation, then you're probably 20 minutes away because you're a little bit more west. If you live by Oceanside Country Club, you can be in Daytona Beach in 5 minutes. You can be in Flagler Avenue in 20 minutes. It's proximity, but then again, you can be up to Palm Coast. You can be to St. Augustine. Like, if you like historical stuff in St. Augustine, because that's the oldest city in our country, you like that, or you work in Jacksonville, you could still live here. This is not that far away. And that's
true.
different.
Your commute is not that far.
And you're never going to hit traffic because 95 never gets congested. There are probably not a lot of people living in Ormond Beach or Daytona Beach or New Smyrna Beach or Ponce Inlet or Port Orange that's driving up to Jacksonville or Palm Coast. Or a pro for sure is Ormond Beach's proximity to everything. Again, it is a little bit more north than Daytona Beach and Edgewater and New Smyrna Beach, but it is close to a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just a stone throw away. And
yeah, you still get that neighborhood feel if you're looking to live a little more inland and not right on the beach. I mean, obviously Ormond has its own beachside community, but if you want like a private gated community or just a really nice neighborhood feel, but then still get to step out of that box and then go walk on the beach that same day, you have that in Ormond. And then you have, like you said, the proximity to everything is so close. Like, you really are the best of all worlds when you're in Ormond.
One thing about Ormond, I'm going to jump right into con number 3, which is going to be its seasonal traffic. And I will say that I love Ormond Beach. I think it's amazing. But Granada, which is the street that we're on right now, is not good. I showed the menu on this place. We just got our food real quick. I showed the menu. I don't think you can get anything except for seafood. I think I saw a chicken sandwich on there, but other than that,
No, I
the
think it's all
whole
seafood.
menu is entirely seafood.
Well,
So
it
if you
is
like
called whole
seafood, it's called all seafood, but you still sometimes you can see like, surf and turf stuff where you see a land section. There was no land section on this. I mean, chicken, but do chickens swim? Because maybe they're sea
chicken
animals.
of the sea?
Maybe they're chicken of the sea. But again, let's go. We're into con number 3, which is going to be the traffic and the congestion. Granada Boulevard, which is what we're on right now. Granada is, I hate it. It's a sucky road. I mean, it is really bad. It is like Canal Street, except busier with a lot more traffic. It's like Flagler Avenue with a lot more traffic, and the traffic here is not very good. And even coming from 95 and take Granada all the way down to the beach, it is rough. I mean, during the week and we're in mid-August right now, so school's getting ready to start back. So we're kind of coming into the off season. It's not nearly as bad. But when you have things like Bike Week come in, and you have things like Daytona 500 come in, or Pepsi 400 come in, the traffic and congestion can get really, really bad. So con number 3 is absolutely traffic and seasonal crowds. Let's go into our last pro and con, and let's go into the outdoor lifestyle here. Now, I'm not just talking about the beach. I'm talking about
surrounding
parks.
neighborhoods.
Yes,
And stuff.
I'm talking about parks and trails and just, there are so many things here. Way more than Daytona, way more than Consummate, way more than New Smyrna Beach, which we live. The outdoor is unbelievable. You get to Tomoka State Park.
Which is a animal preserve, that direction. So if you're really into like bird watching, or just you want to go see some animals like in the wild, you should go that direction. If you can do like canoeing and stuff out there, and you will pass gators, you will pass deer, and sometimes we have Florida mountain lions that are out there. Really cool stuff.
It is really cool. They also have what's called the Loop, which is the scenic route that's under all those covered trees that we took actually going out to one of the parks one time with Ava, and it's just gorgeous, and there's houses that are on this, but there were preservations here, there are Indian reservations here. They've not done nearly as much development in Ormond Beach, 39 square miles, and they won't do it because it's protected area. The trails and outdoor living and biking trails and walking trails and kayaking and stuff like that, it really is just, it's phenomenal.
It's
and better,
different.
and honestly better than any area that we covered. Again, I love New Smyrna Beach. I'm biased to New Smyrna Beach. I live there, but Ormond Beach absolutely has the outdoor lifestyle. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, and so finally, our last one. This is our number 4. Covered 4 pros. We're covering our 4th prawn. See where my head's at. We're talking about seafood. It's a pro and a con. Actually, this is a prawn. I'm going to call it a prawn. This is our 4th con that can be a pro. So this is our 4th prawn. It's going to be the limited nightlife. So let me elaborate here on the limited nightlife. If you are a young adult that likes to go out and you like to go to bars and you like to go to nightclubs and you like to always be busy doing kind of some stuff, then this maybe is not going to be the place for you.
More laid back, family friendly, retiree.
100%. So it's not as close to Daytona Beach. Again, if you're in Plantation Bay or you're in a Halifax plantation, it's not going to be as close to some of those amenities as you like. But you're going to have things like Plantation Bay's Country Club. You're going to have all the restaurants there. You're going to have Halifax's restaurant. You're going to have, there are a lot of really laid-back places. We're here at Holes right now, which is an awesome place. Yeah, you can get a drink here. We were looking at
It's not a party scene.
It's not a party scene at all. But you know what? We're grown-ups and we have a daughter, and we're not party scene kind of people.
Party scene either.
So that's why I'm going to call it a prawn, because it also can be a pro because you don't have a party scene. It's more laid back. It's more relaxed. And if you like golfing and the golf cart lifestyle, if you like South Beach, Miami, and that's something where you want to live, then probably Ormond Beach isn't for you. But talking about Miami, if you like Coral Gables, which is relaxed and nice and calm, but still close to the beach, then Ormond Beach is for you. So listen, I get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people like you. And when I say that, I'm not joking around. Rachel was reading me an email from somebody that's in South Carolina. I was on the phone with somebody earlier that's coming in from Jacksonville. I was showing houses yesterday to somebody from Edgewater right down the street from us. I do get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to help you move here. Until next time, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you get all notifications and updates about New Smyrna Beach, Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach, Ponce Inlet, Port Orange, and Edgewater. And until next time, we're ready to eat our food. Thanks.
Super ready. Bye.